The Lipetsk region is one of the most successful and dynamically developing subjects of the Russian Federation. The region takes the leading position by many social and economic indices. The Lipetsk region is situated 370 kilometers south of Moscow. The region has essential advantages in the sphere of logistics. 3 federal highways run across the territory of the Lipetsk region. By volume of traffic, the Lipetsk region is in the first 10 regions of the Russian Federation. Lipetsk Airport has the international status. It is capable to accept airplanes of any class. Railroads are part of transport system of tourism. The regional railway junctions serving passengers are Yelets, Грязево-Воронежские, Ranenburg. The convenient geographical situation of the Lipetsk region in the central part of Russia is the important factor of its investment attractiveness. There are more than 500 lakes in the Lipetsk region. The well-developed river network is more than 5,000 kilometers long. This promotes the development of tourism on the river in the region. The unique potential for the development of fishing and hunting tourism is provided in the region. Both the unique nature and rich cultural and historical heritage of the Lipetsk region has made tourism and recreation a strategic guideline of investment development of the Lipetsk region. Tourist and recreational clusters Yelets, Dobry and Shukhovsky and outer tourist clusters Zadonchina and Oranienburg have been created in the Lipetsk region within the federal target program of development of domestic and entrance tourism in the Russian Federation. Tourist and recreational cluster Yelets. Tourist and recreational cluster Yelets is located in the city of Yelets. It also includes some sites of Stanovlyansky district and Yeletsky district. The unique historical building still survives in the central part of the city. Numerous historical routes start here. The investment appeal of tourist and recreational cluster Yelets is promoted by rich historical and cultural heritage of the district, and also by the existence of the unique natural resources on the territory of the cluster. Event tourism actions of the international value take place on the territory of Yeletsky district. More than 14,000 viewers attended second of European importance festival of military and historical reconstruction Rusborg in 2015. Ладейное поле is the only festival in Russia which is devoted to the shipbuilding in the early Middle Ages and where it is possible to watch exact copies of river and sea ships of the Vikings epoch. Legend about Old Town Yelets is one of the most well-known opera open-air projects in Russia. The success of the staging initiated the building of a theatrical and scenic complex for 2,000 people on the bank of the river Bystraya Sosna. Restaurants, hotels, spa complex and water complex are to be built in the cluster. The priority of investments into tourist and recreational cluster Yelets is confirmed by annual increase of a tourist flow and by the location of the cluster along the federal highway M4 Don. Reliability of investments into tourist and recreational cluster Yelets is confirmed by the projects which have been successfully implemented on the territory of the district in the sphere of tourism. Tourist and recreational cluster Dobry. The tourist and recreational cluster Dobry is situated in the village Dobrye and its surroundings. Large number of objects of historical and cultural heritage gives rise to the interest of tourists. The location of tourist and recreational cluster Dobry is caused by the rich recreational potential of the district. Investment projects of tourist and recreational cluster Dobry are recreation center, culture and entertainment hotel complex, restaurant with the viewing platform, spa complex, agrarian tourist complex, bus station. Tourist center for rafting sport, hunting club. Traditional folk crafts have been preserved on the territory of the Dobrovsky district. Investments into the construction of the City of Masters promote the creation of exclusive souvenir products. Wide range of preferences from the administration of the Lipetsk region and the Dobrovsky district create favorable conditions for investments into tourist and recreational cluster Dobry. Tourist and recreational cluster Shukhovsky. Tourist and recreational cluster Shukhovsky is situated in the village of Polybina of the Donkovsky district. The unique complex of tourist objects is situated on the territory of the cluster. Nechayev-Maltsev's estate is an architectural monument of federal value. The water tower, designed by engineer Shukhov, is the first ever construction in the shape of the hyperboloid in the world. The garden and park complex was founded at the end of the 18th century. Tourist and recreational cluster Shukhovsky invites investors. The reconstruction of the historical estate with the adjoining buildings and area into a cultural and hotel complex is an interesting investment project. Investment projects of TRC Shukhovsky are hotel complex, cinema, hunting and fishing clubs, parkings, play center for children. Tourist attraction and the minimum level of investment risk promote the dynamic development of the tourist and recreational cluster Shukhovsky. Outer tourist cluster Zadonshina. The cluster Zadonshina is situated along the federal highway M4 Don. Total area is 1,505 square kilometers. The commercial success of projects of the outer tourist cluster is guaranteed due to the lack of high-quality roadside service and similar investment projects along the federal highway M4 Don. There is one of the largest nurseries of rapacious birds and the natural reserve Galичья Гора on the territory of Zadonshina. Different types of tourist routes work for tourists in the cluster. They are walking, cultural and informative routes, sports and extreme routes, bicycle routes. The concept of the roadside of the cluster Zadonshina provides its stage-by-stage building. The projects include the building of a roadside hotel complex, aqua park and mini zoo, water skiing club and a yacht club, shooting and golf clubs, and shopping center, roadside serving complex. Outer tourist cluster Zadonshina creates unique opportunities for implementation of your investment project in the sphere of tourism and hospitality of the Lipetsk region. Outer tourist cluster Oranienburg. Borders of outer tourist cluster Oranienburg include the central and eastern parts of Chapligin. Peter's the Great route to the Voronezh shipyards ran on the modern territory of Chapligin. This became the historical prerequisite to creation of an outer tourist cluster in the Chuplygin district. The rich history and the preserved complex building of the end of 19th, the beginning of the 20th century make cultural cognitive outer tourism the perspective direction of the development of the cluster Oranienburg. The completed projects are Mini Hotel Basilique, Peter's the First Travel House, Mini Zoo, the House Museum of Dolls. Their successful implementation confirms successful investments into the outer tourist cluster Oranienburg. The annual festival of event tourism, a feast of feasts, contributes to the increase of tourist flow. The outer tourist cluster Oranienburg invites investors for the construction of hotels, malls, restaurants and cafes, children's entertainment complex, spa complex, parkings. The favorable investment climate of the Lipetsk region is confirmed by high credit ratings of Fitch Ratings Agency. The unique conditions for investors are created in the Lipetsk region. The whole providing infrastructure is brought to borders of cluster sites and the expense of federal and regional budgets. All that enables the investor to start the project within 1 year. It increases the period of its payback. Welcome to the Lipetsk region.